Sugar Lock is not that far from Meridian, Mississippi.
Oh, I heard of Meridian, yes. Yes, never been there, but yes, I've heard of it.
Okay.
Okay.
But you get the point. A real small town, dirt roads, like 16 kids in a 2-bedroom house. I still don't know how they did that, but they did.
Yeah.
But can you speak on your rural upbringing?
Well, I was born in Mississippi, in fact, I left there when I was about age 6, so actually my mostly upbringing was in Memphis, Tennessee. But yeah, as you read the book, I went through a lot of struggles, and we all got a story to tell, Storm. Some hardships, and mine was really a lot. As you read the book, you can see that I went through a lot from a physical and mental abusive perspective. Domestic violence in my household, and a very dysfunctional family. But so all through my life, basically, I couldn't do nothing but put band-aids on my hurts and pains. Just smiling faces tell lies. Yeah, I was hurting tremendously inside, but by the grace of God, and you're gonna hear me use that word God a lot, because I want you guys to know that truly my life has been changed. And so yes, I had a lot of hurt and pain to life. But as you said just earlier, briefly, I'm still standing. Still standing. Mm-hmm.
That's true. I mean, we even said before the cameras actually cut on, like you should definitely look into making your life into a movie, because your life is a movie. I would put it that way. Y'all got to get the book, because the book is definitely good.
Yeah.
Before we go back on that, let's jump a little bit. I did want to ask you. I know why you named it this. I feel like I know, but can you explain to the people, why did you pick the title?
Okay, if we really look at life objectively, snakes, and then my concept really came from the Bible, because Satan was called a serpent and all like that in the Bible, and very deceptive and all like that. So in life, everybody has truly an ulterior motive in life. Think about it. If you really look at it objectively, we all, not including me now. And when I want people to know, when that title was Snakes in the Garden, I had snakeism in my life too. And if you really examine your life, you did too. So, but anyway, I said all that to say this. Yeah, the concept came from the Bible, and people we all have ulterior motives, whether good or bad. You see what I'm saying? So I really dealt with the ulterior motives of those that I was really good for and try to help, and their ulterior motives towards me was really bad. And as you read the book, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I mean, I can even look back on, like you just said, I can look back on my life and I'm like, yeah, that was a snake. I thought I could trust him, but I didn't. You are somebody who has a really big heart. So how do you now, you don't want to change yourself, but you also want to make sure you don't get taken advantage of. So for the people out there with big hearts or that are empaths, what would you suggest?
Well, let me say this too before I get to that point. When I said snakes in the garden, and you got to understand, there's all different kind of snakes now, Storm, in life, right? You got I use this analogy. You got little garden snakes, and they're somewhat harmless. In fact, if they bite you, no harm done, right? I mean, you might hurt and pain, but no really severe hurt. But now you got, and I say, the rattlesnake. Okay, a rattlesnake, now he will give you a warning. You can be looking at this person saying, man, there's just something about this person I know, blah, blah, blah. But then you go on to trust this person, and before you know it, he done bit you. And you might live through a rattlesnake bite and you might die. But ultimately, there are snakes that's truly out to kill you, like the black mamba. And if he bites you, it's pretty much over with, right? You see? So it's those type of people, the haters, that really is out to try to kill you, So yeah, that's how I look at snakeism from a humanistic perspective.
I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that. Some are just really gonna, be annoying, and some are really trying to take you out.
Yeah, they'll take you out. You know that in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. I did want to ask you this. What role do you feel racism played in you getting 27 years? Well, you served 27 years, but you actually was sentenced to life in prison. So without the possibility of parole, what role did racism play in that sentence?
Crazy. Think about it, man. I was given a life sentence, as you just said, without the possibility of parole. That's a death sentence. The only way I was supposed to have gotten out of prison was in a box. And these people actually did that. The prosecutor and the judge railroaded me, and they gave me that sentence because I wouldn't cooperate. Basically, I wouldn't cooperate with the government. And so, it's crazy for a nonviolent crime to get a life sentence when you got mass murderers. They even have a chance to, at least appeal and fight in court and get out of prison. But yeah, they did that, and it was unbelievable. And as you read the book, you'll see how shocked I was to get that license. I never thought that, and I'm just gonna tell the truth. When I say white, I'm not racist or prejudiced. I am not. Well, back in my day, I was, and of course, I'm old enough to know about the civil rights fight and all that. My dad was a sanitation worker, and I lived that era. See, I'm old enough to know. I remember the white bathroom, the colored bathroom, the white water fountain, the colored water fountain. We couldn't sit. We had this special location. I'd sit in the movies. Of course, riding the back of the bus. I went through all that. So, okay, nobody be speak to me about racism. I lived it. So, yeah. To your question, answer your question is, what part did racism play in it? It was a tremendous role that was played, and it was racist. Again, as I said, you're gonna give a man a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Like I said, I was supposed to came out of prison in a box. But glory be to God, you see what happened here. I am interviewing you. You see what I'm saying? I received clemency from President Obama, and like I said, here I am. They meant it for evil, but God meant it for good.
But God meant it for good.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
And we had actually had another guy on the show who, at like 15 years old, he had got sentenced to like 330 years. Once again, that's
crazy.
That's a death sentence, but he actually gets out. I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years. So altogether, he's going to end up doing about 23, 24 years. So, it's unfortunate, but it's better than life.
That's easy for us to say though. 23 years is a long time. I don't know what he did, but and don't get me wrong. I'm telling you, some people need to get draconian sentences. You know what I'm saying? For the heinous crimes.
He was just with a group of guys that was robbing. He didn't even take none. He was just there.
Yeah. See, and that's where it goes. Justice really isn't blind when it comes to the black man. I'm gonna tell you, in Brown, justice is not blind. I look at Justice, Lady Justice, that symbol of Lady Justice with the blindfold on. Well, I see her when a black person steps up in front of her, I see her peeping underneath with one eye, looking at, the coloration of your skin, and give you harsh sentences. Yeah, you definitely don't be sentenced according like they would for the same crime that a white person would do. And that's just life in reality.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah.
They said, chat, they say much respect to you, sir. During that era, had to be tough. Absolutely. Let's see. Y'all stay on point in the chat, please, and thank you. Now, another point I wanted to touch on is that you actually have Choctaw heritage, correct?
Yeah, I do. My great grandfather, he was a Choctaw, and that's where we get these high cheekbones. Of course, mine done kind of deflated a little bit, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's interesting because I used to hear the elders in my family say, they didn't say Choctaw, they said something else, but I used to always throw it off like, nah, we not Indian, we not Native American, nothing like that, but it's, I don't know, reading like your book and how you describe like your family and how you guys look, it kind of made me want to dig into my family history a little bit, because you just never really know. So yeah. I thought that was very interesting as well.
Right, yeah. And we did, that's Native Indian, is part of my heritage, and you know what, and the crazy thing about it, I just really found out about my heritage since I got out of post-prison, and actually I just really didn't know a lot about my heritage. And my family, I thought that actually my family migrated from a particular part of Mississippi, but come to find out that they actually migrated from Kosciuszko, Mississippi. And that's the home of Uncle Winfrey and what's his civil rights name? Yeah, James Evans, and 2 civil rights fighters. Well, 1 civil rights fighter in Oprah Winfrey. That's their hometown. And I just discovered that maybe about 5 years ago.
Which is pretty dope to know, right? That you guys come from the same hometown. Like, that's pretty, your family, not you, but your family. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with Oprah. She might be related to me and, and hit me up,
Hey, you never know. She need to bring you on the show. She can do a special and bring you on there.
Yeah, we might be.
Anything is possible.
That's right.
Yeah, Mississippi guys, yeah, absolutely. But you got to read the book to get the details, all right?
There you go.
Now, one thing I thought was interesting about you is that you were a very, very promiscuous young man. You was busy out here. You was busy with the ladies. You was the ladies man, for sure.
Yeah, you would have to bring it up, but I mean, you know, I mean, that was my past, and I mean, you know, the truth is the truth. I mean, when you don't really have any sense of direction, and really know, and you know what, when you don't have a mentor in your life, because as you read the Bible, you see what kind of father I had. I guess you saw that. Yeah, very nefarious and all like that. So when you don't have, I'm telling you, I understand it. When I look back retrospectively, I see how important it was to have a role model, you know, a male figure role model in your life. Because I didn't have a clue, you know, what being a man really was. And I live according to the streets, and that's just the way it was. And anybody that was brought up in the streets, they can relate to what I'm saying is, when you don't have a father figure in the house, in the household, you're gonna have chaos. I'm telling you. You know, women sometimes they look out and raise a boy, but it takes a man to raise a boy. You see, because there's just certain things that a woman cannot relate to that kid as a boy. So yeah, so we are, you know, pretty much without telling you the whole gist of the story is, we was pretty much raised by a woman, you know, and but she couldn't control us, and we just ended up in streets, and one thing led to another. And up to 27 years in prison. So.
And you know, it happened, but I love how honest you were in the book and how open you were about, because you could have skipped over that part. You could have just, you know, you didn't have to tell us, but it was nice to see you be so open about everything that led up to that, those behaviors, and you know how you overcame it. It was just really nice to be that open.
Yeah, you know, it was truly my goal to be transparent. And it's a lot of things, just to bring, you know, all the scars and bruises that people see, you know. And I know a lot of people are going to be kind of ticked off with me, especially in the second book, because it's getting real ugly. But it is what it is. And again, I'm not out trying to hurt nobody, you see.
Yeah.
I'm just telling my story. And I tell people, I served 27 years in prison, I think I have that right to tell my story.
I think you do too.
You know, as long as it's not about trying to hurt nobody or throw nobody under the bus. And it's not. And I just want to try to show the people my skills, as my writing skills also, that God gifted me with that I didn't know I had.
I agree. And by the way, we're going to take a quick little break here to remind the people to hit the link in the chat. All right, to go get the book, Snakes in the Garden. The link, the direct link, is actually in the chat as well as in the description box, and it'll be pinned in the first comment of the video. Tasha had a question. She said, what is your biggest regret other than trusting snakes?
That's a good question. What is my biggest regret? My biggest regret really in life is that I didn't know God and have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ at an early age. See, that's my biggest regret. Point blank, period.
Not having a relationship with Jesus Christ. Wow.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about that. How do you serve the Lord? Do you go to church? Do you serve from home? Like what's your personal relationship? You know, you don't have to tell us everything, but just give us a little insight.
Yeah, very briefly. I truly have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm telling you, when you look back over my life, there's 27 years in prison. Man, there was no way that I could have done that time with the joy. Listen to me now, with the joy and peace that I had during that time, because I saw other inmates around me. You know, I got saved as soon as, pretty much within 4 months after I was in prison. I'm talking about saved, born again. So, and during those 27 years, I had a look at a lot of people, inmates around me, and see how they was dealing with life. Now, I could have, without Christ, I could have came in and been living the same. No, I would have been doing the same thing they was doing, trying to make all the slick moves, and you know, with the drugs and alcohol, because you know, in prison you can get anything you want. Trust me, sex, anything you want. All you got to do is have the money. And so, but then I saw how a lot of them was dealing with life in general, frustrated, want to fight, just didn't have no peace, doing everything, trying to do everything that they was doing in the streets before they came to prison. And so I know, man, and I know how I was. If I didn't have Christ in my life, I would have been making them same moves. You see? But yeah, I did. If anybody, let me say this here. If anybody had told me that before I went to prison, oh man, you can go through prison and do those 27 years with ease, ain't gonna be about nothing. I would have told them, you're a lie, ain't no way in the world I can do 27 years of my life in prison, come on with some joy and peace. Gotta be crazy. But
Yeah,
trust me.
Because even speaking with you, even seeing like how you carry yourself, I wouldn't know that you had been away for that long. Like I wouldn't, you know, you don't look like what you've been through. That's what they used to say.
Yeah, that's
You don't
good.
look like what you've been through.
Yeah. You Christian or something? You said that way. I don't look like I don't look like what I've been through. That's right. And I don't. And that's the grace of God. I'm telling you, you know. So I was, he kept me, man. And see, can nobody, I don't care what you say, can nobody take me off that square. God gonna always be first in my life. Because when you read that book, man, I'm telling you, when you read that book to the end, you're gonna see, man, this man is supposed to have been dead. I don't know how he made it through this.
Listen, I was reading the book like I don't know how he survived his father being shot at, constantly being beat.
Don't tell him all of it, Storm.
I'm not gonna tell it all. I'm not gonna tell it all. But it was just like, oh my God, you was living with a bad man. You literally living with somebody that should have been committed.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You're right. Yeah.
And I was also thinking about as I was reading the book, how tough it must have been for you to not only, we ain't gonna tell them everything, but to have to deal with the kind of father you had and have his name too.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And you know, and that's another story in itself. You see, most people know about Jimmy. That was one of the reasons I went allowed. Now my classmates in school, they call me Jim. But yeah, post that, everybody, I pretty much changed my. That's how I came in with Jimmy. You know, because I just didn't want to be a Jim. That's my dad's name, because I'm actually Jim Jr. So yeah, so that's how I came up with Jimmy. Jimmy Townsend instead of Jim Townsend. But now, you know, since that, as you can see, I use it interchangeable. I now use Jim Townsend, and in fact, that's what my website, Jim L. Townsend. And see, if you notice you're gonna see a fluctuation between Jimmy and Jim, and that was the story behind that.
I was catching on for sure. Now, just out of respect, I call you Mr. Townsend. That's just out of respect.
That's cool.
But I thought that was interesting as well. And what would you say to people? Let's skip forward a little bit. And shout out to Essie Berry. She's in the chat. What would you say
Essie.
to people? Yeah. I don't know if you saw her comment, but she said, "God bless everyone in the chat." Shout out to Essie.
Okay.
What would you say to people who have been to jail, been to prison, and now they're trying to repair the relationships with their children who are like maybe adults now, depending on how long they've been gone? What advice would you give them to start their healing process?
You know what? I'm gonna say this because and like I said, that's the third book. That's what I was telling you. You know, initially, beginning, I'm talking about this guy. It's worse when I got out of prison. I'm talking about this for a relational perspective, because my mindset was when I came out of prison, all I wanted to do, because I had missed all my, you know, kids' life growing up with most of it. Because even with the kids that I got by Marjorie, which are my youngest too. Jason is my youngest, and of course Morgan. But what really happened when I came out, man, it was delusional, because I just thought everything was going to be peaches and cream. But without telling about it, it was real ugly. It was real ugly. So really, to speak on that question, I really couldn't tell you how to do it. Only thing, listen, I surmised everything from this perspective. This is what I see. I just love those that let me love them, because I came out 11 hard trying to bond with my family. So I've been out 6 years, and like I said, it's been real ugly in some phases of family relationships. So God has brought me to the point to where I can simply say, I just love those that let me love them. That's all you can do, and move on. You see?
Okay, I hear you, and I understand that. And I think it's also important for people to know that you thought about your children every single day while you were in there. It's not like you just forgot about them. just you have to deal with the circumstances. It was what it was. So.
Oh no, of course I tried to, imprison them because that's all you really got. And then, when you're in prison, you really, even from a Christian perspective, being born again, being saved, you start, if you got any kind of sense, you start looking at things that you missed, things that was really unimportant to you that you really embraced as being important. But when you really look at it objectively, it wasn't all, you say, man, I did all that to get all this crazy time. Because during that time, with the war on drugs, they was giving away crazy sentences. I mean, I'm a perfect example for a nonviolent crime. So yeah, it was it was real ugly. So, but anyway, through it all, here I am again.
Through it up, here you are. Here you are.
Yeah.
Now, on a bit of a positive note, I had got a question that was emailed to me. They said, make sure you ask Mr. Townsend this week. We want to know. The people want to know: are you dating? Are you looking for love? With the story?
See, there you go.
Answer
See?
that one. Answer that one.
Say that again. I didn't get that. Say that.
Are you dating or looking for love? What's your story?
I told you I'm a transparent person, right? And I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Being transparent, I just got out of a relationship that it just didn't work out. Sometimes things don't work out in life, and I guess what I was doing was moving too fast and see. But I am looking for that right young lady. Not necessarily young lady. I don't mean to say that. That's all I dealt with when I was in my young years. But no, for that woman too. That listen. I prayed for God to give me, put that woman in my life. That first and foremost, love Him first, God first, and then will love me secondly. So I'm just what I'm doing now, just celibate, sitting down, and just waiting on God. Truly, that's where I'm at right now.
I like that, because you want who God has for you. You're not trying to pick for yourself. So like that.
Yeah, because when I look back, I said objectively and look over my life, man, it was just ugly. And being a transparent person, let me say this, because when I came out of prison, I'm gonna say this very briefly. When I came out of prison, being locked up for 27 years, you think that that's due to you. I've been locked up. No woman really in my life, no sex, nothing like that. So you have a tendency that I thank God I just kind of bridled myself, didn't just come out just buck wild, doing what I was doing before I went to prison before Christ. You see, but I ain't gonna lie, I broke some of the rules where God did say, abstain from sex outside of marriage. But that's what the enemy do. They trick you. You see what I'm saying? Are you married, Storm? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not married.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you need to get married.
Stop it.
I've been hearing that a lot.
I'm just joking. Go ahead. No, I'm not joking. I'm serious.
That's funny, though. They gonna eat that up.
Yeah.
They said in the chat, "Oh, you definitely nice looking." Cindy said he's nice.
For real, Cindy? Gray Fox?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sunflower said you're famous. I can't get to know you. I like to be low key. Mr. Townsend is low key.
What's she talking about famous? That's that's famous. Oh man, I'm not famous at all, But Marjorie has put me on the map as hard. In fact, that's some of my media supporters. What she tells me, you famous. That's what she called me, famous. So, Rita Burton, yeah. But no, I'm not famous. But you know what, Marjorie, she is making me famous now. Because it's really all about her. People really want to know. I know, I understand and recognize and realize that it's only because don't nobody really know me. But the people in Memphis pretty much are those cities that I was selling drugs in, But don't nobody really know me. But I understand, I know Steve Harvey and Marjorie that's put me on the map and gave me this platform to be able to speak out. But they made a big mistake because they really did from the perspective of what they did in my life and what they did to me. But no, it's all about that. Like I said at the beginning, it's not about throwing anybody under the bus. I'm gonna tell the story, You know, let people look at it objectively and see. You see what I'm saying? That what I'm simply saying is not about to hurt nobody. But people gonna be called. Certain people gonna be called out strong. They are.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know what's coming. I know it's certain people out there. They're trying to maintain a squeaky clean image, and it's just like, well, your skeleton's not gonna stand.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because you took charges to make sure that certain people wouldn't go down, and I'm just leaving it at that.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, I'm just saying, you sacrificed yourself so people wouldn't be held accountable, and damn, they were done with you by the time they left the courtroom.
And my thing is, I always tell people, I don't care how I die, I stay true to the game. I understood the game, you know, when you read from the first beginning, from the Chicago back to me. I stayed true to the game. You see what I'm saying? And that was just the way I was raised in the game. Stay true to the game. Never be a rat. You know what I'm saying? And just saying that, that's it.
And he wasn't. I gotta give you that. I gotta give you that. Is he a grandfather?
Great father.
Yeah, he is. But I wanted to leave it open to you once again. I'm going to put your book back up. Snakes in the Garden. The link is in the live chat as well as the description box.
Your YouTube, tell them to subscribe. YouTube.com/@Jim L. Townsend.
It's going to take you through a whole roller coaster of emotions. This man has lived 1,000 lives in one life. And so I have to bring you here today to definitely give you your props. Is there any final words for the people?
Well, you know what, and I appreciate you too, Storm, because you didn't get all caught up with that Marjorie and Steve Harvey syndrome. Because my first book is really not about that, because it's really a look over my life and see what I was brought out of and through. Because I don't know if you read all through the first Chicago scene. I should have been dead. I should have never left Chicago alive. But without telling the story, I did. Because you see me, I'm that dead. I think this is live. It's not. So yeah.
Somebody's been praying for you from the beginning.
Man, my mother loved the Lord. Yes, sir. I know I got bound her prayers. Ain't no question about that, Storm. So yeah, that's right. So I mean, I guess do I have any other words? We pretty much said it. I just wish that people would buy the book and read about my story. Don't focus so much on Marjorie and Steve Harvey. But I know you will in that second book. But it's really, I want you all to see me as the life that I went through, which was detrimental, and also try to see what God has done to me as being, I think, somewhat of a proficient writer. You know, I want you all to see me as an author, and I did my best on that, and I just didn't throw nothing out there. And of course, I had 27 years to work on it. But yeah, yeah. And I also, listen, I'm talking about, let me put a plug in myself, because my little administrator, she was just telling me, I want you all to go to subscribe to youtube.com/@Jim L. Townsend. Okay? You got to put that up there, Storm.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to put that up there.
Yeah, youtube.com/@Jim L. Townsend.
Tell them when the next book might come out. Look up the next book. Got you? Tell them
You want to tell people when the next one coming out, or you want to wait?
That's what my assistant just told me. I don't want to give. You see, I got caught up in this is self-publishing, you know, and trying to predict a date. And you see, I was a month late and all like that. So no, but we on it, right? Huh?
Tell them something about the book.
She said, telling me, she in my ear over here, telling something about the book, but no.
Well, we did. We've been touching on it without giving them too many of the stories, because you got it. The stories are good.
Yeah. She hadn't been listening. I have been touching on the second book. She liked to drink that homemade wine, so she didn't.
Hooch. Shut up, Jamie.
She said, hooch. So she missed that part. Yeah. But I did. But the only thing I can say, and again, about the second book, because truly that's what everybody really waiting on. You know, to really see how me and Marjorie got together, what she played in my life, in the game, and all like that. So yeah, all that is in the second book. And And so I know this, and I want to say again.